Breaking news from Zelda Dungeon.
Welcome, everyone. We have breaking news. I'm trying to be as high intensity in this intro. Quick, everyone, make some good thumbnail expressions. We're back again so soon. We were able to insert Corey. We got the ship back on track. We're here to talk about, some big Zelda news from this Nintendo Direct.
I watched a lot of Home Improvement growing up. Okay, I'm sorry.
So we're just gonna get into it, obviously. But I guess before we talk about Tears of the Kingdom, does anyone just have some stray thoughts from the Direct as a whole?
I mean, the way it was going, I was fully expecting the Hateno farming sim to come
Honestly,
out.
there were like
really?
There were like 20 JRPG farming sims. And none of them were my farming sim.
I was delighted to see that Tunic is coming to Switch.
Yeah.
A lot of high praise, this kind of throwback Zelda-like game that looks awesome. I was waiting for it to, I think it was also coming to PS4 soon, but I might Switch works just as well, even better, especially my little
playing in
handheld,
bed, yeah.
Let's get straight to the hot news. We got a title drop for
drop.
the sequel
Boom.
to Breath of the Wild. Tears of the Kingdom.
Spelled Tiers.
It was in honor of us. They clearly loved us.
They're big fans of the show.
My pal AG called me up and he was like, "Hey bud, you got me. It was Rise of Skyrule. We're gonna have to change it now."
What's your initial impressions? Do you like the name? What'd you think of the trailer?
I love it. I think the name is awesome.
That's cool.
It immediately made me think of a million things.
It's noticeably darker in tone, I feel like, than some other titles we've gotten.
Do you think Tears of the Kingdom, it's like, it's following that Breath of the Wild naming structure, but that seems like it could potentially be referring to something in the game similar to previous Zelda games? Do you think the Tears of the Kingdom, that could be a couple things? What do you think?
Honestly, I think it could be one of three things or all of three things. It could, one, just be in reference to the Broken Kingdom crying, something bad stuff's happening, everyone's sad. Two, we've seen Link with some fancy new doohickey thing on his hip. Looks like he's got some vials of liquid that could relate to some of the energy fancy schmancy stuff.
Yep.
And three, when we saw that weird deity thing in the artwork with the 7 apostrophes floating around, those could potentially be the titular tears. Those could be the MacGuffins of the game.
The last major trailer that we got, where Link went up through the Sky Island, remember that he formed into what looked like a tier. Maybe it's an ability, maybe each tier is a dungeon.
I wonder if it'll be like a combination of any of those things too. Obviously, maybe the thematic thing Corey mentioned and something else would work, but I'm also thinking, maybe you're collecting these 7 tiers or whatever, but maybe also they affect the gameplay similar to the champion abilities, so maybe before I was cautiously optimistic, and I guess I'm still there.
Sure.
I'm just sort of wondering how different is the world gonna be, because I like seeing all the little sky islands. I'm just wondering if it's gonna feel like this is its own fleshed out area, or are these little things you're popping up to for one-off locations. And what about the surface? How I see some differences in the little clips, but how different is that going to be?
In the background, if you look at the surface, you can see craters where the land has risen up into the sky. We're probably going to be able to explore the craters. And so that's obviously going to be totally different, as well as maybe even leading to underground based on the first trailer.
Right. That still could hold up.
If you look at, then there's the rune looking things on the ground, the zonai rune that are big, that maybe look like the goddess. I'm not really sure.
There's one that literally you flip it, it's basically that deity thing that we are seeing in those carving that stuff from the beginning.
And in that same scene, you can see way up in the sky, out in the distance, a huge island.
Yeah,
it's
ginormo. You can see Temple from Smash back there.
Yes, the official box art is beautiful.
It's fire.
Oh my god.
I was kind of on the same page as you, where I was a little bit cautious, but something, even though we didn't see a ton of the surface, something about this trailer did kind of assuade my fears a little bit, just because of the sheer amount and size of some of the sky islands.
Yeah.
And the fact that the short glimpses we do get of the surface, I was looking down there trying to look at detail, and I was like, looks pretty messed up down there. I don't know. Death Mountain, which this is a new thing from this trailer, Death Mountain is also spewing a bunch of malice. And you can see big old craters like Nico was saying in the ground, and I'm just thinking, if they're putting the attention to say like, hey, the surface was messed up when all of this happened, just based on the amount of sky islands we're seeing, there has to be absolute, demolishment on the ground.
We haven't seen all of it too, and so they could be teasing more, putting it in the background.
They're definitely trying to not reveal very much about the game. So many of the shots are super close up. Like there's like two main shots in the trailer that are really open and wide, and it's right when he jumps off and then when he's going up on the rock. Like those two are really open and wide. Oh, and the what looks like the stone like loft wing looking thing that he was like playing on, which is so cool.
That's so cool.
I feel like they're trying to hide stuff.
That was kind of bothering me before, but I feel like since it's been so long and they're still doing that, I'm just thinking like, okay, they have to have something good. Like they have to be hiding all the good stuff. Like they wouldn't be this secretive if they didn't have anything behind it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The big thing, the fact that we got that release date.
Yeah.
We
haven't even mentioned that yet.
It's not super far off.
May
coming
12th?
out in May.
241 days from its announcement.
So that means we should theoretically hear more about it, in somewhat the near future, right?
I hope so.
I feel like we're probably gonna get another direct sometime in the new year.
Usually
where
February, right?
Yeah, sometime in the late winter, early spring area. I think we're gonna get more concrete like gameplay stuff, I think.
Which there was some gameplay stuff in there that was really interesting to me. The way he dove off of that island, I was like, oh, he's going for it.
It felt very Skyward Sword, I gotta say.
It did. It really did, which I'm all for.
There's a lot of comparisons I saw made. Obviously, the Sky Islands and
the Tears of... is it Sacred Tears or Tears of Light?
Oh,
Skyward Sword? Whatever they're called.
Yeah.
Obviously, like that's a connection.
Tears of Light.
I know somebody in the ZD Discord pointed out, I think this was KB Smith, pointed out that the deity at the beginning kind of looks like a guardian from the Silent Realms.
I can see that.
Which might kind of lead to being created by like the goddess, so...
Probably not related, but I was getting huge Lord of the Mountain and Bloopy vibes.
Yeah, I can see that too.
The way that they have almost that like owl-like face and then like the big flaring out ear whatevers, but... I think it's interesting. It's cool to mention too that deity, whatever it is, the eye patterns have the Sheikah symbol basically, the three little things, and then the drop. And Zelda does too.
Zelda, yeah.
Do you think that means this is going to be a very Sheikah related game?
I hope so.
Like a Sheikah heavy.
Obviously, I think all of those Zelda YouTuber like game theorists are just like so happy right now because they're figured out the Zonai is actually a big important thing in this game. I really hope it's super focused on maybe how the Sheikah are related to the Zonai or something like that. Or how their technology worked together, because it's similar but it's just a little different. I don't know.
There's always the heavy speculation on like, oh, they're gonna like connect all these lore dots that I've been thinking about for a while, and then when the game comes out, it's not. It's kind of an afterthought. It's actually like creates all this new lore because they're like, 10,000 years ago this happened.
Answered,
yeah, it's because they're like, we decided to just do something new for this game. So that's another thing I feel like, there's gonna be probably all the speculation, but I feel like 50% of it will connect, and then a lot of it will be like, it's just something new.
I think there's definitely something to be said, at least, that like a lot of that stuff in the beginning, some people were like, oh, it's just a coincidence. It's just dragon heads, right? But now we have the logo, which literally has two of those exact same dragon heads like chasing each other in this like cycle pattern thing. And you got the big dragon circle on that huge door that he opens up. And like, I feel like it's a little too much for coincidence, but I totally agree that it's not going to be they're not going to fully flesh out
Oh, no.
everything, super detailed. You can find dragon statues in the area in Breath of the Wild where the Zonai are from, like in all the Zonai ruins.
Mm-hmm.
There's statues with like that exact same dragon head, and that's also the dragon head that's on that flamethrower thing that Link uses in the second trailer.
Can we talk about that logo for a second? The Master Sword in the logo is very interesting.
Very cool.
Because the top of it looks like the sort of the broken Master Sword from the end of the beginning of the 100 years in Breath of the Wild, where it'd been like taken over by Malice and everything before it was set in the woods. And then it passes through the Z, and the bottom part is all like the Zonai like blue lines and stuff that make up the rest of the sword. And so it's like
Z's for Zonai.
yeah,
Gets all like synth wavy.
yeah, I'm super interested. And I think a lot of people were saying this from the first trailer with Link's arm, but maybe this really will be kind of going back to the basics of restoring power to the Master Sword instead of finding it and it's like, oh, it's powered up and you can like level it up with the DLC stuff. It's like, oh no, the Master Sword is completely ruined and we have to like go reforge it, which is I mean, that's very Skyward Sword, that's very Wind Waker, that's very like
And Fi will be in the game, and
Fi
all
and
that stuff.
Minna's coming back and Navi's gonna be there. And everyone's
they're
favorite
gonna-
Proxy from Hyrule Warriors is gonna be there.
they'll explain how Breath of the Wild fits on the timeline.
Yeah.
Just that kind of pattern, the patterns on the swords and the patterns on the things on the ground and the patterns on the drawings and all that stuff. It's cool to see how they all fit together. Clearly, like Link's arm thing, we see that was the hand that was sealing Ganondorf in the reveal trailer, right? And those swirls, that hand grabs Link, and it seems like that's the exact same energy type thing that's taken over Link's hand, giving him some sort of weird powers in this one. Do you think that hand could belong to that deity that we see in the drawings? You can see that clearly that deity is related to this energy somehow. And you can also see that deity has like these bracer things on. And it's not a ton to go off of, but I think it would be interesting to just whoever or whatever this is. I'm super curious to see how they play into the story. But I think maybe there's some sort of transfer of energy thing going on to Link.
Yeah.
And he borrows some of that power.
I could totally see that. And I think what sort of seems like maybe the reason these big symbols are showing up on the ground and maybe these runes have come back to life is because that hand was taken away from Ganondorf. So Ganondorf's power is coming back, causing all the Malice stuff to happen. But by the arm being broken from what it was sealing, that's releasing that blue energy. And so it's like all of this stuff, and maybe we have to go collect the tears in order to seal Ganon again or something like that.
To update the Swords software.
Yeah, we have to update its drivers.
Legend of Zelda and the 7 Sword software updates.
This is something random that we kind of skipped over earlier. We talked about how, you can see Hyrule Castle coming up into the air, and we've now seen the Malice coming out of Death Mountain. But if you look in the cover art as well, you'll see in the distance where I think about Rito Village would be, there's like a giant tornado cloud. So it kind of looks like something is taken over Rito Village. And then there's a huge storm cloud in the back of when Link is on either going up or on the Stone Loft Wing.
Yeah, it's when he's on the Manta thing.
So
It reminded me of the Georg pair from Minish Cap.
Maybe there's very specific weather events happening in each region, or like different disasters from SimCity 2000.
yes,
One's like, oh, aliens are invading or whatever.
I hope so.
This is actually one big farming sim where you have to account for the weather.
We're here complaining that Nico didn't get his farming sim, but little do we know.
Or it could be a thing where like the one stormy thing, maybe it could be it could be as big as like it's something like the whole game, or it could be like how similar to that one shrine quest where it's like storming in that one area. It could just be like always like that there. But I guess they wouldn't make that like big, like show across that far on the map. So I don't know.
Do you guys think we're gonna get dungeons? Like legit genuine Zelda dungeons.
Well, some people were speculating that maybe the 7 tiers in that thing were like that's what you collect in 7
Those
dungeons.
make
MacGuffins,
sense.
yeah.
So I don't know, maybe that's it. So maybe I don't know if they're gonna be, if it was those, like
Yeah.
if it would be the same, like, or like if they'd be similar to the Divine Beasts or like old dungeons, or maybe something new. Because I think the Divine Beasts, they had some good ideas.
They
with
really
it.
did.
You know, every Zelda game has like a different type of dungeon in a way, and I'd like to see them, you know, kind of try to innovate other new unique things. I don't want it to just feel like, you know, the same type of dungeon I played over and over.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
I do love those, but I'd like to see, you know, new ideas.
I totally agree. I'm feeling the same way. Those 7 things also kind of just gave me the vibe of like 7 dungeons. These are the areas we need to go solve and do something. But I completely agree. It's not like we're gonna go to an area and it's gonna be the forest temple is there, and it's exactly like something like that. I think it would be silly for them to throw away all of the fantastic ideas and creativity that came along with the shrines and the divine beasts. So I think, like you said, I think we're gonna see some sort of new hybrid type thing. Maybe something a little more unique and a little more grounded than something like the divine beasts, but definitely with elements of their design in there. That's what I would want, at least. That's what I would hope for.
Well, I hate to break it to you, Corey, but I have a feeling not a lot of this game is going to be very grounded. My main reason for asking this question is that when I saw that giant storm cloud, my first thought was, are we getting a giant storm-themed dungeon? Like, how cool would that be?
That would be so cool.
Like,
Dungeon that's in a tornado.
there are big storm events happening. You've got a big tornado-looking thing. You've got a giant thundercloud. Like, give us storm dungeons.
Gooey, what you said about like different areas having permanent things happening to them, that actually reminds me a lot of Majora's Mask.
Yeah.
Where it's like each corner of the overworld is experiencing their own thing going on, like the poison swamp water and the big crazy thing that's going on at Great Bay, you know.
What if we get a bring spring to Hebra and melt it down?
So that you can plant crops.
Start a new village and a farm.
Bam.
Bolson's like, I need to move in here.
I really hope that we get some of our favorite NPCs in this. Like,
That's the other thing I wonder
really
about
do.
too. Like, there was random. I don't know. There was like speculation about, you know, maybe this connects with the past and stuff like that. And I wonder now too if that we've seen even more of like the Sheikah hints, maybe like, and that maybe we will see more hints of like,
yeah.
you know, stories of the past, or if it'll be a thing where it's all like, you know, you find like a tablet or something or get some lore from an NPC. I wonder if we'll see if there will be like any time travel.
I don't know how much we saw or have seen of like going back in time or seeing things way back in time. But whatever that ability that Link has where it almost looks like stasis that we mentioned earlier, that kind of looks to me like reversing the timeline of a specific object thing.
Yeah.
So I think there's definitely maybe like in little pockets we can travel back to before this Calamity 2.0 happened or something, you know?
I can see them having it'd be like a mechanic, but it also like could serve as a similar function to
like
the
time
memories.
shift stones, little pockets of time travel.
Yes.
Time shift stones.
Exactly like that.
That'd be so
Or like,
cool.
you know, you could have areas where you do something and you get almost like a memory, you know? But
you like get to play the memory instead of just watching it?
That too, yeah.
Whoa,
that would be awesome.
Sweet.
The translation of tears, because people were saying maybe it's tears of the kingdom, but it's not. It's definitely tears. Like based on the Japanese translation, it's like tears, like crying.
Oh,
tears.
yeah.
Children's shampoo has been having this problem for years. No tear, no tears. Which is it?
No tears. It's no tear shampoo.
And then they're gonna regret this name.
Legend of Zelda and the No Tears shampoo.
Closing statements.
Skyrule Ribbon. would have been better.
Yeah.
Rise of Skyrule. Yeah.
Rise of Skyrule in my heart.
Thanks everyone for watching. If you have any other questions, something you feel like we didn't cover, you want us to talk about, leave a comment for sure. We can almost probably do a mailbag out of those types of responses. So
Special mailbag. Yeah.
Also, we have a mailbag coming out this weekend, and we recorded it before we got
Yes.
this little direct. So I think some things are out of date, but not really.
It's not that bad.
I think we don't know the title in that. We call it Rise of Skyrule still, but maybe
it'll
we should
always-
just call it that.
In our hearts, it'll always be
That's
Rise
what it's
of
called.
Skyrule.
Give us a like, subscribe, ring the bell. I'm sure we'll see everybody soon with more Z.
Z Deets. I'm gonna make it go away now.
Oh no.
Bye.